What's up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be doing the match preview for Borussia Dortmund versus Barcelona in the second leg of the Champions League quarterfinal. Of course, Barcelona do have a 4-0 advantage after the first leg, so barring an absolutely historic miracle by Dortmund, Barcelona in the semifinals. The only team to ever come back from 4-0 was, of course, Barcelona in La Remontada back in the 16-17 season. So a miracle of miracles is needed from Dortmund to, of course, advance to the semifinal. But that does not mean that they can make this game difficult for Barca and cause us serious issues. But we have to be as resilient as we can be. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below and let's try and get to 200 likes on this video. It would be very much appreciated. And also, if you are new, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Kickoff time for this match will be taking place at 9 p.m. local time, so regular kickoff time in the Champions League, and this match will be taking place at the Signal Iduna Park in Germany, of course the home of Borussia Dortmund. A very hostile atmosphere and stadium, of course on the other wall, 80,000 capacity. Of course we already had a game there this season in which we won 3-2 during the group stages, so hopefully the atmosphere and the surroundings won't be of new and of difficulty to this Barcelona team. And the referee for this match has also been confirmed on the pitch. It will be the Italian referee Marciano Mariani, and the VAR will also be the other Italian referee Marco Di Bello. Now, in regards to the second legs of all the quarterfinals going forward, of course, our potential opponents for the semifinal could be either Inter Milan or Bayern Munich, with Inter Milan having a 2-1 advantage heading to the second leg. This match, of course, is taking place on Wednesday. Of course, they got a big win in Germany against Bayern Munich. That tie still too close to call. Arsenal 3-0 up against Madrid. Madrid probably going to make a comeback. Not going to be too surprised there. PSG, Aston Villa as well. PSG with the advantage. Again, out of all four games, Barcelona do have the most long and probably most comfortable advantage into the semi-final. But again, the route to the Allianz Arena, the route to the final in Munich is on for Barcelona. And again, wait and see on Wednesday who our potential semi-final opponents are, if of course we do end up advancing. Let's now take a look at our opponents in Borussia Dortmund. Of course, we already did kind of an in-depth preview on them last week in the first legs. I won't, waste your time on it too much. Of course, last time we faced them was last week, 4-0 thumping at the Montjuic, with OILR, the front three, all getting on the score sheet, with Lewandowski getting a brace and Rafa and Lamine also on the score sheet as well. You can see, of course, the lineup for this match on the right-hand side. We could, of course, see something very similar to this, barring, of course, the injured Alejandro Balde. Same, of course, in the retrospect to Borussia Dortmund as well. They won this game with the 4-5-1 formation. We saw that Adeyemi and Guirassy were, of course, playing more forward than they were as wide midfielders, with Julian Brandt kind of, dropping in to make that midfield three. So again, they have some players recovered for this game as well. And of course, we cannot forget where they're currently sitting right now in the Bundesliga table. They're still sitting around 8th place. They're almost 5 points off Champions League spots at the moment. Of course, for their reputation, this is very, very poor for them. Their last 5 games are a draw, 2 losses, and 2 wins. Now, following, of course, the game against Barcelona last week, they had Der Classic against Bayern Munich during the past weekend. So very, very intense games for Borussia Dortmund as of late. And of course, in the Der Classic away at the Allianz Arena, they managed to nick a 2-2 draw. Now, of course, I think a lot of us, if you guys are soccer fanatics or football fanatics, should I say, ended up watching this game. Very, very even game. Compared to Dortmund, they of course got battered by Barcelona 4-0. Of course, Bayern lost 2-1 nearly to Inter as well, both coming off of UCL quarterfinal losses. You expect Bayern, of course, being the better team, being at home, tracing and almost winning the Bundesliga, that they maybe walk away with it. We've seen all the Dutch classics in the past, usually at the Allianz Arena. Bayern win 3-4 or 5-0. 2-2 draw. They, of course, opened the scoring with Bremer. Of course, the first half ended 0-0. Bremer got the early goal in the second half. Then 2 quick goals by Bayern Munich, by Gnabry, and I forget who scored the first one. Was it Muller? Something like that. And then we had Anton scoring from a corner. Guirassy with unbelievable footwork and technique on that corner to help Anton score the goal. And he almost scored that bicycle kick as well, Guirassy. So great technique from him. Very, very even game. And again, this is the reason why he cannot shut this game out. Despite getting battered 4-0, they went away to Bayern Munich, the direct rivals, and got a point, which, all the cards, all the signals were pointing to them losing. So shout out to them. You can see how they lined up this game as well. They went with a 3-5-2, and you can see the players they rested in this game as well in terms of starters. No Adeyemi, no Jamie Gittins as well. Who else? No Ben Sabani, no Chukwuemeka, no Namacha. So they rested a lot of their players for this game as well, and still walked away with a draw. Now on the screen right now is the line that I believe that Niko Kovac will select for this match. I think he will go with Kubal in goal, a back four of Ryerson, Nico Sule, Emre Can, and Ben Sabani, a midfield three of Pascal Gross, Namacha, Julian Brandt, front three of Adeyemi, Guirassy, and Jamie Gittins. Of course, Pascal Gross returns after being suspended for the first leg. Sule as well returning from injury. There are reports suggesting that Emre Can is a big doubt for this game, but this is Dortmund's last big game of the season. You know, they're going to be chasing Champions League football, yes, but they're not going to win any titles. This is their last kind of big moment this season. I think they will risk Emre Can in this game being as important for them and their captain as well. I think Chukwuemeka will drop out of the midfield for Gross, of course. The match is staying as the 6, Gross as the 8, Julian Brandt as the 10. I mean, we could see, of course, Bremer starting a great game against Bayern Munich. I think he is their natural attacker. We'll wait and see if Niko Kovac will go with the back 3, or will he go with the same system that he played in the first leg, which again, to be fair, only 1-0 down at halftime. The goal scored by Barcelona was, of course, from a set piece. So they were kind of in it in this system. Will he maybe just give up and rotate his whole team as well? That could be a question mark as well. But I think he will go for it at least in the first hour, see how the game goes. If they have no chance, maybe he'll sub off their players and rest and look to try to secure Champions League football in the Bundesliga. But this is the line I think that Niko Kovac will select for Borussia Dortmund tomorrow. So overall, final thoughts on Borussia Dortmund. They're of course a very good team. They're well managed by the manager Niko Kovac, who's come in and has rejuvenated them a little bit. Again, getting a draw away at the Allianz Arena is no mean feat. We just have a very uphill task in this game. I think maybe his priority right now is to secure top 4 and a Champions League spot for Borussia Dortmund next season. In terms of players to look out for, of course, we of course saw the first leg and how well they were. Again, Guirassy had so many chances in that first leg. If he scores them, the whole tie is completely different. We saw how dangerous Adeyemi was at during that game, but of course was taken up at halftime due to Kounde's great performance. Jamie Gittins, of course, caused some issues down the left-hand side, had a few shots on target. Namacha and Chukwuemeka did very well as well. We'll see how they play when they have Pascal Gross, their key midfielder, coming back in this game as well. They're a team that should not be taken lightly. I would say the positive thing is that they clearly do not believe in the comeback. Their manager, their players over the past few days have come out saying that, oh, it's an uphill battle, but we'll try. Not really the mentality you can see Real Madrid against Arsenal. They're saying, we're going to come back, Bernabeu, you're not ready, blah, blah, blah. They have motivation, they have encouragement, but most importantly, they have belief in themselves. We can see that with Borussia Dortmund, what they're saying over the past few days, especially Niko Kovac, their manager, and their players, they're not really showing that much confidence. So, of course, when we came back against PSG, Enrique was saying if we can score 4, if they score 4, we score 6. Neymar with 1% chance, 99% faith. We all had encouragement, and they're not showing it. Of course, when we lost to Liverpool, they showed big encouragement to come back in the second leg as well. So we're not seeing that from Dortmund, which I think is a very, very positive. So I think a comeback is unlikely, but if you know what, they get momentum in the game, they can cause us, of course, serious problems. Let's now take a look at the squad list. The squad list for this match has been released and confirmed, and it is as follows: Kobarsy, Araujo, Ini, Gavi, Ferran, Pedri, Lewa, Ansu, Rafa, Inaki Peña, Torre, Christensen, Fermin, Pau Victor, Lamine, Olmo, De Jong, Kounde, Eric, Szczęsny, Cochin, Hector Fort, and Gerard Martin. No surprises there. We of course have seen no B team players being called up following the injury of Balde, and again, most importantly, on that injury to Balde, we have 2 confirmations from Barcelona: the green light from Olmo, which of course was received yesterday on Sunday after the Leganes game, and also the confirmation of the injury of Alejandro Balde as well. He has a hamstring injury, which of course means he's going to be out for quite a bit of time. Current reports are suggesting that he will be out for around 2 or 3 weeks, and he's going to try his best to make the Copa del Rey final. It's going to be difficult, of course, but he will try. We'll talk about what Flick said during the press conference as well. Look, we're at a point in the season where you have to risk the players, and we have a month left of the season. You got to risk it for the biscuits. So if you can make the Copa del Rey final, that is great. We'll wait and see how Gerard Martin does perform against, of course, Dortmund tomorrow, against Celta, against Mallorca. If he's that poor, we probably will rush him. But if he's doing okay and being stable, you never know. He might tell Balde to take his time. So we'll wait and see. Again, it's not a serious injury, but with so many games coming up and games every midweek and every weekend, he's going to miss a few matches for Barcelona. But again, his objective is to reach the Copa del Rey final. One more squad update, of course, is in regards to yellow card suspension. Inigo Martinez is still the only Barca player that is one yellow card away from suspension. And also to note, yellow card suspensions are wiped once the semi-final arrives. So all Ini has to do is survive this game, not get a yellow, and then the semi-finals, he'll be secure until the final, of course, barring he does not get a red card. But again, if he gets a yellow card in this game, he will be suspended for the first leg semi-final if, of course, we do end up qualifying. Of course, Ini, very important player for Barcelona, so avoiding a yellow card at all costs will be crucial. Time now to get into the press conference reaction of Wojciech Szczęsny. Tech was the one selected today to do the press conference alongside Flick. Of course, in cup competitions, a player always comes to the manager during the pressure, and El Fumador was selected for the presser. And as you all probably know, all he got asked was pretty much Ter Stegen this, Ter Stegen that, this and that, about Ter Stegen, you're going to get unregistered, all of this stuff. So we already knew this was going to happen when it was announced that he would be taking the presser. But let's go and see what Tech had to say this afternoon in Germany. His first question he was asked was about being unregistered so Ter Stegen can play in the Champions League. And Szczęsny said, I am here to replace Mark, but I want to play in this competition. I would respect the opinion if it was the other way around and we have a good relationship. On my renewal, it's not something that I think about too much. I'm focused on the present. I don't want to waste energy on contract negotiation. I want to give my best version of myself for this club, and the game against Dortmund is a big game for the team and also for me. We are all in the same situation and we all want to do our best. We have played against very difficult teams and we will do it again tomorrow. What I bring to the team, with my age, you can handle pressure differently. The other players are perhaps more enthusiastic and I am more calmer. My Spanish is not good enough yet to talk to my teammates on the pitch and help my teammates, but I help them with my attitude. I'm always calm. I like to win. A few months ago, I was on the beach and now I'm playing for one of the best teams in Europe. Winning is what I like the most. It would be impossible for me to think about winning such important competitions after retiring. I'm getting closer and closer to winning the Champions League, which of course is a big dream of mine. At the moment I signed for Barcelona, honestly, I was playing golf with my son. The truth is that before that moment, I had already received a signal. It was strange for me because not many players would call them in that situation, and it was a very natural reaction. The support from the fans, the truth is that these things can come very quickly. If you perform well, the fans will always love you, and I'm very happy for that. I will take this opportunity to achieve something very important for this club. My dream is to win the Champions League. Mark has a very high level, and it makes no sense to make comparison. He is coming back to train after an injury, and the truth is that when he receives it 100%, there won't be many goalkeepers at his level. On my personality, the truth is that I would have a hard time explaining how I am funny. I just try to be myself and be natural. Lua helped me a lot in my first few weeks when I arrived. In those weeks, Enrique Peña also helped me, and I was quite natural as well. And when the Ter Stegen is available, the decision will be on Flick, not ours. There is no tension. It is a particular and delicate situation. We will understand and respect any decision. We both want, of course, what is best for the team. So it's essentially saying it's on Flick. If he wants to change, I have no problem, but of course I want to stay and play and of course win the Champions League with Barcelona. So again, he's putting all the pressure on the manager, but most importantly, he's keeping the relationship open and concise with him and Mark, and saying that he has no issue if the decision is in Mark's favor, and he hopes that Mark has no issue if the decision is in his favor. So that concluded Tech's press conference reaction. Had the match against Borussia Dortmund tomorrow. Time now for the press conference reaction of Hansi Flick, who of course spoke after Tech in the presser in Germany this afternoon. Let's go and see what the Mr. had to say. He was firstly asked on the Szczęsny Ter Stegen question, who will be the goalkeeper? Is there a chance that Ter Stegen can bench Szczęsny? He said, look, anything can happen in football. I cannot give you a 100% answer. There's no plan as of right now. So again, I like Flick keeping the door open. Hopefully internally it is a bit more clear, but I don't mind him being open in regards to the public. We are coming from 4-0 up in the first leg. We will try to play at our best level, and I think in games like this, we have to be very focused and play the way we know how to play. We are lucky to have a 4-0 advantage because tomorrow's game will be very difficult. I want my team to enjoy playing against one of the best teams in Europe. We want to play a good game and we want to maintain the level of the 4-0 in the first leg. On Lewandowski, it is noticeable to have a player of his level in the team. He's very professional and has a lot of experience. We count on him a lot. Every day he shows what he is like, and he has all the parameters of making a good player. He's a great example for the rest of the players. On the physical condition of some of the players, that's something I've already said. We want everyone to be available, and I never tire of repeating these players are fantastic and always want to be there. I want to give them the opportunity to play in the final. The support of the fans against Dortmund away from home in December, there was also a big turnout as well in the away section. Their support is fantastic, and I think that our team tries to return the support with their performances. The atmosphere between the players and the fans is always very positive. On Dani Olmo, we'll see if he can play tomorrow and if he can recover for the weekend. He has great quality, but it's true that we haven't always been able to count on him because of his injuries. Even so, we are very happy to have him back. A match I'm most proud of. There's so many games to be proud of. Good results always make me happy, but it's hard to choose one. I cannot tell you. Winning Setsuba with Barcelona. I've always said that I don't live in the past and that I won with Bayern Munich, but I live in the present. Everything that comes is welcome, and that's the future that we have to focus on against Dortmund, and we have to focus on tomorrow's game. On Inigo being one yellow card from suspension, we don't want Inigo to get a yellow card tomorrow as he would be potentially out for a semi-final in the first leg. He is very important for us. And finally, he was asked, can Dortmund make a comeback? He didn't say yes, he didn't say no. All he said is, I have complete, absolute confidence in my team. And that concluded Hansi Flick's press conference reaction ahead of the match against Borussia Dortmund tomorrow. Let's now get into the lineup prediction. We're going to start with the manager, of course, Hansi Flick. I'm going to try my best to predict this lineup. I think it will be very difficult to predict. Will he make a few rotation? No rotation at all. Of course, went fairly strong against Leganes this past weekend. I believe that Flick will select this lineup on the screen right now with Wojciech Szczęsny in goal, a back four of Jules Kounde, Pau Cubarsí, Inigo Martinez, and Gerard Martin. Midfield three of Frenkie de Jong, Pedri, and Fermin Lopez. Front three of Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski, and Raphinha. I think Flick will basically go as strong as he can go. I would love for Flick to start Gavi in this system. I don't know if he will or not. Barring maybe a change, I think Flick again will clearly go strong. We'll wait and see what he does at left back. Maybe he can, surprisingly start Hector Ford, who again defensively and in big games tends to perform. Maybe Gerard Martin, the pressure is too much for him. I don't know. But barring this lineup here with one change, I don't think Flick will make too much rotation. Of course, a lot of talk about maybe Ferran Torres starting the game, but I don't see it happening. I think Flick will go fairly strong for this game, then probably eye rotation for this weekend's game against Celta, which of course will be an early kickoff. So I think that's going to be the objective for Flick. I think he should make rotation. Again, we have a 4-0 lead. We can afford one or two changes just like we did against Leganes this past weekend, but I don't think Flick will do it in this game. I think his goal is probably to reach the hour mark and then make those changes with half an hour to go, with hopefully maybe a 0-0 at that time, 1-0 advantage for us, maybe a 1-0 disadvantage, but not too much to really worry about getting knocked out. But this is the line that I think that Hansi Flick will select for this match, and of course, in the comments down below, let me know what you think Flick will go with. Now I'm going to show you guys my lineup, what I would do if I was the Barcelona coach. Of course, I have made a few changes to Flick's lineup prediction. I have gone with this lineup on the screen right now with two changes, of course. Firstly, Gavi and Fermin in the 10, and I also have started Araujo over Ini. For Araujo, I know again his passing is crap and blah blah blah, but the main objective for Barca in this game will be to defend. I want Araujo there for aerial duels, ground duels, gets the ball one and out, boot it out. I don't care. At the end of the day, Araujo is 100% going to play in this game, whether he starts or he comes off the bench. I'd rather just start him and get him over with. And with Cubarsí being beside him, I think Cubarsí can deal a lot with the pressure and with the passing and the distribution. Also, Gavi in the 10, I think, is absolutely imperative for this game to have the energy, the intensity, the tenacity, as well as going to be vital in this game. Again, we don't need Fermin because we're not going to be going attacking per se. Of course, Gavi has the ability to do that, but we're going to be relying, of course, mainly on Gavi's work rate. Rest of the team, I think, pits itself. I think this team is very good enough. Of course, you have two rotations in the team as well. And again, you can rotate once you get closer to the end of the game. But this will be the line that I'll select for this match. And of course, in the comments down below, let me know if you're going to pick my lineup or Flick's lineup. Time now for my score prediction. What do I believe the result will be in this match? I have sat my arse right up the middle of the fence, and I'm going with a 1-1 draw. Again, I think the main thing for Barcelona is maybe just to stay undefeated, keep that undefeated record going. I think we win this game. It's a massive plus. I do not think we'll keep a clean sheet in this game. I think we will concede at some point. The question is, when will that some point come, and will that affect the team? I think the Barcelona, of course, will not be playing a defensive game or nor an attacking game, but more so of a balanced game, affair. And I think they can definitely couch Borussia Dortmund on the break, especially with Borussia Dortmund having to go for it in this game a lot. You're gonna have YLR on the counter attack, so I do see us nicking a goal per se. In the end, I don't think we're gonna get knocked out. I don't think we will be having a miracle on our hands. I think we will progress, of course, to the semifinals for the first time since 2019. But I've gone with a 1-1 score prediction. But of course, in the comments down below, let me know what you think the scoreline will be. So that was a match preview for Borussia Dortmund versus Barcelona in the Champions League second leg of the quarterfinals. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course in the comments down below as well. Let me know your thoughts on everything we did discuss. The main thing on our firstly, of course, is your score prediction, and secondly on those lineups. Firstly, would you rather pick my lineup or Flick's lineup? What do you think Flick will go with? What would you go with if you're the manager? Leave me all your thoughts down below, and of course make sure you guys subscribe down below as well if you haven't already, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the live watch along. Set the reminder on the screen and come and join me and watch the game with me. Follow for the match by my match reviews. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Big game ahead. Hopefully nothing too crazy happens in this game. Take care and Forza Barca.
Yeah.